And hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the WartburG and Fusion Entertainment Review, though today it's more WartburG and Friends Entertainment Review because we have a guest today, that being Chris. He's at GammaKoruchador.
What would that
WAFER.
acronym end up being?
WAFER.
WartburG and Friends and WAFER? It would be WAFER.
Yeah.
We're WAFER today.
Yeah, 2 F's.
WAFER.
Yep.
But yeah, Chris is been a longtime friend of ours, and we've had him on a number of different stuff, whether they be streams, prior podcasts, and shows. And actually, he made this overlay for me like years ago when I was running a different podcast. So if you're watching the audio version, we do have a fun video overlay, which you should head over to at youtube.com/c/MrWartburg, because I got in back in the old days when you could get a custom URL. And as usual, I'm joined by Patrick, a.k.a. Fusion.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
And I'm your normal host, Thomas, a.k.a. MrWartburg. So this week is number 12 for the WartburG and Fusion Entertainment Review. We're going to be talking all about WandaVision. The finale just aired. This is March 5th. We're recording this on the afternoon of the finale's air date. We're going to go over all of episode, I believe it was 9, and then go through kind of some spoilers for the entire season. So if you haven't watched WandaVision, pause this a little bit. Go watch that, come back, and engage in the discussion. And if you have watched it, cool. Let us know what you think of our thoughts in the comments below. Or in a review or whatever. I don't really know how the other platforms work. I really just do YouTube and Spotify. So, okay. So all that out of the way. It's only been a week since the last recording, so there's probably not much to talk about on the actual, what we've been up to side. So let's just dive right into WandaVision, the finale. We are fresh off the actual self-titled episode, the season finale. Or was it series finale?
They called it the
series
finale.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured based on the interviews they gave, how they don't plan on this one having a second one, but who knows where the universe takes them, which I appreciate that approach. So this is the series finale of WandaVision. So what did you guys think of the episode?
I'll let our guest jump in.
Let's start with the guest. Yes, that's a good call.
All right.
Jump in.
I thought it was...
Oh, we should probably actually introduce Chris more officially. Chris is a streamer, and he's really good, and he's an artist and stuff. And his username on the YouTube side is above his name. You should go follow him there on Twitch and Twitter.
He does kind of art and shit,
Yeah,
he's cool.
There you go.
Okay, back to the episode.
To the main course. I thought the episode was awesome. I don't know when we're gonna get into spoilers, but that mid credit scroll
from the jump, man.
The end. So here's something that I'm gonna just say going into it. I haven't watched any of your guys' podcasts on this because I'm somebody who didn't want any of the theories going into each episode.
That's fair.
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch them. But I don't know anything about the comics. I don't know anything about the lore behind things. So I don't know what's coming, which is why I don't like to look at theories too much. Mm-hmm. So the second end sequence, it boggled my mind because I don't know what's going on. Is it playing towards that multiverse thing? Because isn't Doctor Strange's new stuff being
Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is it playing towards the multiverse? Possibly with her reading the book and then hearing her son who is still there, maybe? I don't know. And there were two of her? I wasn't sure what was going on. So I was just ended the episode and I just sat there staring at the screen for 5 minutes trying to comprehend what was going on. And I love that in TV shows and all that stuff. So, but other than that, we were talking about this slightly beforehand, but the vision talk was just so much fun to, instead of have a battle between these two unstoppable forces, to have a confrontation of the minds instead of the fists, which is not something you normally see in superhero stuff nowadays.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very stoked for all that kind of stuff. So I think
considering they were born of the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it wrapped it up really well to the whole Vision's kind of goodbye scene being, I've been this, and then I was this, and then I was this. Let's see what I come back as next time.
Sure.
I thought that was really a good, passionate way of doing that as like a creator. It wasn't. There's always this I won't say goodbye type of thing, but I thought this one was done really well. Not too cliche. So
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want to take up all the time, so we can
No,
move on
man,
to the next person.
I just want
This is
to
what we
jump in
do.
real quick off of your comment about not knowing the comics. We kind of represent the three different perspectives.
Sure.
We got Fusion being the actual like Marvel Comics head guy.
Yeah.
Me being a Wikipedia junkie and somebody who like peruses a lot of sites and like gets different perspectives and background on the comics, even though I never originally read them. And then of course you being the guy that's coming in like kind of out of the cold and not like intentionally out of the loop. It's kind of
Right.
three different ways to look at Marvel stuff.
Kind of the casual, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it from the movies, and if it's not in the movies, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Which
Very-
pretty
is,
much
you know,
to each their own, and
Mhm.
that works, and it gives you different perspectives and like kind of expectations for what's coming,
Mhm.
which is pretty unique. Which is something I'm glad we can actually put on a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Fusion, let's jump to you. I'll play the host here for a little bit longer.
Right.
What were your thoughts on the series finale?
I loved it. The one thing I really appreciate about this show, we've said this, you and I have agreed about this multiple times, how they have managed to pull out so many elements of the MCU, and it's not done in a fan service way like The Mandalorian did. Like there was a lot of fan service in The Mandalorian, but they did it well. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
it was great. But with this, it's like it helps you remind you that this shit exists in this universe. Like the Darkhold, by the way, is back in play, folks.
I can't believe they went there. I can't
I
believe
was
it was
like,
the Darkhold.
Yeah, like we're going back to Agents of Shield, baby. Bring in Ghost.
But it
That means
looked different.
Ghost Rider now.
That's what got me. It looked different.
Yeah, well, remember.
Explain it to me. Explain
Okay.
what is this?
Okay, so in season 4 of Agents of Shield, it's centered initially around LMDs, life model decoys, or
Mhm.
life model decoys, robots that look like people. But then it spun off with Ghost Rider, and then it just spun off into this whole thing where they just were in like basically like the Oasis in Ready Player One, like this whole
Okay.
network where their minds were logged in. But the backstory was the Darkhold was where they were able to flesh out, reality. You didn't really know unless you read the comics, didn't have an idea really of what the Darkhold really was. And it's a little different in the comics. Don't get me wrong than what it was in the show. But we've established with this finale that it is the Dark Book of Magic. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
it is the Dark Book of Magic, and there's a lot of things, and I'm sure there's a lot to touch on here, guys, because it's like one thing. The last time we saw the Darkhold in the quote unquote MCU was in the season finale of Agents of Shield. Coulson gave it over to Ghost Rider, and he disappeared. He opened up a portal very similar to like the sling rings that that Doctor Strange
But
and
with
all
his
of the,
flaming fucking Ghost Rider chain.
with
It was
his chain,
dope.
of course, is badass. So that he had the Darkhold. So the finale, a lot of questions are answered, which is great, and it created new questions, but it didn't leave a lot of like questions like what the fuck happened to this and this and this, because it didn't do that. But it opens up new questions, which is what's supposed to do when you create an expanded universe like this. And one is, where the fuck did she get the Darkhold? Is that the actual Darkhold that Ghost Rider had at one point? Where did she get it, or did she
Or is
conjure
it
it
a
up?
different one? Like,
Is it
are
a
there
different one?
multiples?
Exactly. Are there multiples? Did she conjure it from a different dimension? Like, is it a very similar thing where it is autonomous amongst all the dimensions, that it exists in itself amongst all the universes? It's the
Mhm.
Darkhold, right? Because we've established in Doctor Strange, the original Doctor Strange movie, that these sorcerers get their energy from the multiverse. We've established that. We
Mhm.
established in episode 8, when she was having her battle and her conversations with Agatha Harkness, that they pull their magic from a darker dimension, which is hell. Now, in the comics, there's a whole argument there, because we talked about Mephisto potentially being here. He comes from
And
a
then there's
dimension.
Dormammu to consider too.
Yeah, and Dormammu
Mhm.
comes from a dark matter dimension. That's what they call his dimension, the dark universe or the dark dimension. So that's a different dimension. Now, there's another dimension where Hela is from. Remember Hela, Thor's sister,
Mhm.
Hel with one L, it's not even really a dimension per se. It's more of in their current dimension, in the 19999 dimension, the MCU dimension, and in the 616 comic book realm. Hell is a kind of a separate like world, like Midgard, Asgard, all of that, all those universes that was fleshed out by I forget Odin's dad's name. I forget his dad. What's his
Bor.
dad's name? Or that they helped construct along the way, thousands upon thousands of years ago. But Mephisto lives in a different dimension that he's called Hell with two L's. Is it the same place that Azazel's from, that Nightcrawler gets his powers from, or is it Limbo where magic lives in? Like, there's just so many things that they've never really touched on. But apparently, Mephisto isn't the devil. He's a demon that plays off to pretend he's Lucifer the devil. He lives in a really fire and brimstone dimension that he calls hell. We don't really know what it is. Is that where the Darkhold's from? We don't know yet because Mephisto could still be in play now.
Mhm.
So it opens up a lot of doors here about where we can go next, especially with the multiverse of madness. Because I think I called this, Warburg. At the end of the battle, Agatha was going to be powerless and defeated, but she was going to keep her alive for later use.
Mhm.
That was established. The other thing is that White Vision was going to have a malfunction and take off and just go off on his own and figure things out. Which were two things I called. Hey, I'm glad I nailed those two. But the other thing I got wrong was the whole thing where I thought that constructed Vision within the Westview world was going to put his essence in White Vision, but it's not. Doesn't look like that's the case yet, But he was built of the Mind Stone. We've established that too, and she has powers. Is she a mutant? We don't know because we obviously didn't get any type of verification of what happened
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Don't you find it kind of convenient that for weeks people were talking about one of the conclusions of WandaVision will be how they're going to create mutants, but that didn't happen. But the day before the finale, they announced they're going to do a mutant project. Did you catch that?
Yeah, like that started trending last night.
Yeah, it was very convenient how, yeah, guys, we're going to do a project called The Mutants, and then it's not in the show. They knew people were going to be pissed about that.
Yeah.
Overall, loved it. I love the callbacks. The resolution to who Pietro really is.
I was
simple.
hoping it would be the actor Evan Peters.
That would have been
Once
really
they realized,
funny.
once they were like, we're not going to do anything that crazy, I was like, okay, they're not going to actually have it be Quicksilver, which is
Yep.
fine. But it would have been
Yep.
amazing if it was the actor Evan Peters who got like witnessed a crime and had to get put in witness protection. Would have been perfect.
Like, I'm just here in witness protection in this little town, and all
Yeah,
of a sudden
like I was shooting
Yeah.
a new season of American Horror Story. Things got really weird. Somebody died, and then this FBI agent shoved me in this little town and said, "Stay here."
Is there a significance to his name that he actually is
I don't
what is it, Ralph
think
Bonner?
so. I literally watched this before we got started, so like I don't haven't had a
Boner.
lot of.
It's a joke. Ralph
Oh,
Boner.
okay.
Ralph.
Okay.
Throw up Ralph Boner. Ralph.
Yeah,
Boner.
no, I thought it was a joke, but I didn't know if it was like
But
one
Ralph
of those,
was also the
this
name
is a
of
name from the
Agatha's.
1960s.
Yeah.
That was also the name of Agatha's husband.
Quote unquote husband Ralph.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure like what that was all about.
Mhm.
That was weird.
But in like the comic book world, Ralph Boner doesn't
Yeah, it's not a
doesn't play
thing.
like a major role.
Gotcha.
That's why I was like, if it's not going to be a thing, they should have gone even further in the stunt casting and just had it be Evan Peters. That would have been awesome.
That would have been great.
Oh, that would have been great.
I thought it was a great finale. Answered a lot of questions. It really gets you psyched. I know Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to be very different, and that's fine. But this gets you set up for Spider-Man and for Doctor Strange too, because we know the Spider-Verse plays into the movie. We don't know what degree, if it's major or not, but we know it plays a role. And Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. But we also know that he's going to have his own film next year as well. So I like where we're going, and I think we don't have a fracture of reality yet. I think that takes place in Spider-Man 3, but I also think that's where we learn about Kang the Conqueror, because I think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
But it's a good foundation for Phase 4. Really good
Yeah.
foundation.
So on my end, like kind of echo, of course, it's hard to seamlessly wrap up a specific story while leaving enough breadcrumbs for where things end up going. I thought they did that exceptionally well. Of course, now we know where Wanda's going. She's trying to discover her power. So I was thinking that it would be Strange showing up to help guide her, but more I think she's going to seek him out instead of the other way around. So I think that's still going to get there. Just how they got there is different. I was surprised how little Monica actually had to do in the finale, given how much she was set up early in the season.
Right.
But I also understand that her part of that story is not this. It's going to be in Captain Marvel 2. So that makes sense. I'm curious if the friend that, was trying to contact her is either Fury or is Captain Marvel. One or the two. It's got to be one of those two. Unless it's Coulson just out of nowhere. Because he was in the movie, but he never really knew Captain Marvel. So, from what I gathered from the movie. But, I thought it was a really fun, way to wrap up the season. And kind of evocative of a lot of different moments in comic book history. Of course, the choice between, kids, Vision, and then, actually doing the right thing. And I'm kind of glad they didn't, go the really hardcore way they could have with Wanda, which is, she's just fucking broken.
Yeah.
Which is where I thought they were leaning toward. And they kind of subverted that and went with no, she's going to own this and, be the Scarlet Witch and not, the crazy Marvel Comics kind of Scarlet Witch. Because she's fucking bonkers. So, and that was... I'm trying to think of where I was going to go with that next point, but I don't have anything. Other things I kind of missed but got partly right was Jimmy Woo. He did call someone to bring in help, but it was just the FBI. I was really hoping it would be an Avenger. That would have been awesome. But I get that they didn't want to go anything. It wasn't supposed to be this crazy story thing. It's all kind of self-contained. So it makes sense he'd call the FBI to bring, backup in. Darcy gets a fun moment of just... But why she would know to T-Bone Hayward? Because they weren't for sure when she got taken that he was really that bad.
Yeah.
She couldn't know that in the story. That kind of... Okay, she wouldn't know to do that.
No, but he did leave her chained to that vehicle, that truck.
Yeah, that's true. But why she would say, have fun in prison? She didn't know, did she?
No, she didn't know.
I'm trying to think of that timeline.
No, because she was trapped right outside of town trying to get back in when Vision left the ice cream truck because he was trying to get back home. So she didn't know that White Vision was constructed. She didn't know any of that.
Yeah, only Wu would know that, really.
Yeah.
Right? Because Monica got sucked in before we find out that Wanda was set up all along. Now, Monica suspected. I'm pretty sure she was on that first. So that I get. And Wu figuring it out from the outside. But Darcy had... How would she know to say, have fun in prison? That doesn't... It's a quippy line that kind of breaks where her character was.
Yeah.
In the story. That one kind of threw me.
Yeah.
I still want a Wu and Darcy
yes,
TV show.
We need a Wu and Darcy X-Files show. Hell yes. I'm in. But further stuff, like Fusion said, I kind of figured this incarnation of Vision we've been seeing for the last 9 episodes would merge with Robot Vision and form a new entity. Instead, he really just kind of gives old Vision his memories back and not his soul, which is basically what he is, as this Nexus Hex Vision. He doesn't merge with them, he doesn't have a soul or anything, but he does have his memories. And I'm curious where they go with Vision in the future, because obviously he's going to show up at some point, probably in Doctor Strange 2, but maybe somewhere else. He could just show up wherever.
Yep.
But it's not like Bettany needs to stay fucking jacked to show up as Vision, He doesn't need to be Thor and just get huge because he's Chris Hemsworth. So he can show up in a lot of different projects and just kind of on a whim, in a way where you don't go, oh, that guy's definitely gearing up for a thing. We knew Hugh Jackman was coming back for a Wolverine in Age of Apocalypse because he was bulking up and getting huge. Everyone kind of figured that out. So Bettany doesn't have that going for him against him.
But Thor, it was easy for Hemsworth because he had just wrapped on the Hulk
Hogan movie, which is perfect synergy of just, we're going to do this thing where I get huge and this thing where I'm fucking huge.
Already. So it's I'm just maintaining. I don't have to bulk up,
Yeah. And I am sorry for kind of stream of consciousness thinking here because I literally just watched the episode right before we started. So I haven't really had time to digest it all that much. But we wanted to get this up.
Now, the more you sit and think, man, it's this was a really good show.
It really worked. It was really, really damn solid.
Of just fluid, good storytelling, and it was one of the better MCU productions. It
Yeah,
really
like,
was.
and for me, like the standard, the gold standard of we're gonna do a 1-season superhero story is still Watchmen. That shit
Yeah.
was perfect. Like it fucking ruled. This is almost that good. Some moments that make me go, okay, but it's a totally different type of show because it's slotting into an existing universe that's going to continue, whereas Watchmen was just meant to be self-contained and never go any further.
Sure.
So that gives you more opportunities from the writing and production standpoint to really wrap everything up in really satisfying ways. So that's the comparison for me. We'll see. Hopefully, Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, the two that are in production and coming out this year, if they're this good, holy shit. MCU might go on for another 20 years. Like,
Right.
Oh yeah.
like they might have cracked the secret to creating a persistent, ever-evolving, ever-changing universe that's not in print, which is like nuts.
Didn't they say is it 22 or 23 where they have 12 MCU related productions?
Yeah, I'd imagine some of those are going to get spaced out just based on logistics, but
Sure.
yeah, it's nuts.
I mean, technically, we were supposed to have Black Widow last year.
Yeah,
Right.
And we still don't have that.
I'm wondering.
We still might not get it. We still might not get it in May. They don't.
Yeah.
I am wondering if they knew WandaVision was going to, like, they were banking on WandaVision being that kind of hit of the MCU that we would need. And since we went a whole year without an MCU, like, we went almost, how long did we go?
Spider-Man 2 was last May or June?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
we all
like
saw it
August,
together.
July, August, RTX 2019.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like we went a year and a half without any MCU. So
Yeah.
I
It
wonder if
was
they were
July
like,
because Endgame came out at the end of April. Remember, they moved
Yeah.
it up a week,
yeah,
and then in July came
was opening weekend. We saw Spider-Man in Austin.
Yeah.
yeah,
at the movie house.
Yep.
that's great. That was a great time. But so I'm wondering if they were like, yeah, we're gonna swap Winter Soldier and WandaVision because WandaVision is gonna be a better kind of holy shit they're actually getting there moment versus Winter Soldier, which I'm hoping is gonna be as awesome because I just watched Captain America: Winter Soldier and oh my god, what a perfect fucking movie. So if it's that good following off WandaVision, man, holy shit, that's gonna be a good time. But yeah, any other thoughts on the finale before we kind of get into our thoughts on the season as a whole, where we're gonna go in the future with some of these characters? Like,
Chris,
any other thoughts?
you mentioned at the final post credit scene where she's meditating or whatever she's doing, and she hears the boys' voices. What are your thoughts? What are your theories? Where are they coming from?
I mean, it just made me think this is our first like look into a possible multiverse.
Okay.
There is the maybe she's looking into the multiverse or whatever universe it is where she said, no, I'm going to keep this town alive and I'm going to keep raising my children and keep Vision as my family.
Okay.
And the way that she looked, it didn't seem like she was like trying to be good about it. She looked menacing. So I don't know. Maybe she could, because I know the one thing that I do know is that in the comics, the Scarlet Witch is more of like an anti-hero where she'll do bad things, but she'll also do good things. It's just she's chaotic
Sure.
in a way. So I don't know if maybe this is because she has shown in the past through what you've seen in WandaVision that she will go extra lengths to bring back people that she's lost. What if this ends up being, I'm going to go take my boys from this universe?
Sure.
Kingpin from Spider-Verse type situation.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I think. I mean, first off, let me just say this: she looked great in the costume.
That was
a fantastic costume.
Right. It was an adaptation of the Ultimate Wanda, the Ultimate comic book, X-Men comic book, the MCU Wanda, and then a little take on the old one as well, the original comic, like the original X-Men when she was part of the Brotherhood of Evil. I think I agree with you in that she's going to tap into something in the multiverse. And I think with Spider-Man's No Way Home, we learned that there is a damaged multiverse, whether it be from what happened in Endgame, we don't know, but it's very sensitive. And then I think maybe part of what she does is creates the fracture, and then that leads way to eventually Kang showing up in Ant-Man and Wasp 3, because it's been established that he's going to be the villain in their movie, but then hasn't been established if he's going to be the major baddie, in Phase 4. But I really like how like you said, you throw it out there. Could it be that way, or could it be just like the comics where their souls are out there lingering in this universe?
Yeah. So like for me, number one, the visuals on her like floating like that were very much evocative of Strange looking into the Time Stone.
Yeah.
In Infinity War. And I like that they referenced the Sorcerer Supreme and like that she's way more powerful than him, at least potentially. So like that's kind of what it was. So yeah, like the Darkhold being a look into, because again that's where magic comes from, is the multiverse. Is her looking into the multiverse? I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like how he was, using the Time Stone, was looking into all possible timelines from the one reality he was in.
Sure.
So I think that makes a lot of sense, and I actually really like the Spider-Verse. I hadn't thought of that, how like she's gonna like pull them in and kind of be the bad guy, but then fix it again, like what she seems to be doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking up and being, as even in Ultron, when she shows up doing bad shit, but then okay, I gotta fix this, and then fixes it. That's kind of been, that's now 2 of her big arcs in the MCU have been fucking up and then fixing it.
Well, and we've established that in the comics, she suffers a major mental breakdown, which leads to the destruction of mutants and the killing of Avengers and all that stuff. The Disassembled and then the House of M. Yeah. But they've teased that she has an issue with mental stability, like just that she has a bit of a fractured mind, and that all it will take is one thing to really break her. But at the end of, when she chose to save the people that were in Westview over, maintaining the lives of, Vision and her 2 boys, it shows that she's trying to toe that line. She's, like you said, Chris, she's an anti-hero, but at the same time, she's still more, we would say, more hero than villain,
Right.
But she does have the capability to do that because she built this whole town and had zero disregard for who was in the town. It wasn't only until Agatha showed her, look, you've captured and kidnapped and programmed all of these people that have lives that are just away from their homes and everything out there, and they want to get out. And it kind of, but at the same time, it helped her come back to a sense of reality, like, oh my God, I did do something really, really bad. But maybe searching through the multiverse, maybe it does create a level of insanity for her. I don't know. I don't want to go that route too much, just because it looks like they really made an effort to flesh out her character in this show, like just her, especially with the background episode with her and Agatha going around and learning about her past and her struggles. You really you begin to feel for her and say, okay, I understand why she is the way she is, because there's a lot of loss in her life and a lot of tragedy. And on top of all that, she had 5 years taken away from her by Thanos, and then she comes back to learn, yeah, he's dead again, and that's really it. We start over. And she's, and a lot of the people she looked up to are gone now. I mean, Tony's gone, Steve's gone, Rogers is gone. Like the Avengers are a very different group. If they're even technically in existence at this point, we don't know. I think we're going to come to find out what's happening with the Avengers, like overall the status quo of that group in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think we'll learn about that,
which was supposed to be airing first. They made that call later last year to swap them after mostly post-production was done on both of them.
Yeah. And something tells me they made the right move, because I felt like this was a great way to ramp things up again, because it tells you exactly what happened to what happened immediately after Endgame. Just immediately after Endgame, she just was lost and had no one, and the Avengers who became her family, they're gone as well. And it's, on top of all that, she's starting over. I think I made a joke about this. I probably should bring it up again. The only question I still have remaining is, when did the government allow androids to purchase property? Like, that's still the thing. Vision's name was on that deed to that piece of land, and I'm like, all right, I'm obviously that's a question I need answered from a financial standpoint. Like, when was that allowed? Because not only that, but the android, was the sentient being, also had the ability to write a living will. Okay, when was that also passed? Was there legislation for these guys? as part of the Sokovia
Well, if
Accords
anyone's
that
got
he
the lawyers to figure it out, it would have been Stark.
It would have Stark,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay. But, I wanted to make a joke online about how Johnny Five from Short Circuit paved the way for Vision. Because in Short
Much.
Circuit 2, he became a U.S. citizen. So I was like,
Yeah.
we owe everything that Vision had access to as an American citizen. It was Johnny Five paved the way for him. So just remember that, Vision. But I'm happy to see that Vision is back technically in the MCU in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I think we'll get the I think we'll get closer to the original MCU Vision at some point here. Like you said, Warburg. I'm interested to see where he'll pop up though. I don't think he'll be a main character in Doctor Strange 2.
No, I don't think he'll like be in the thing that much. I think we might see him in there though.
That's true.
Whether it's shared footage from what they shot for this show, because there's probably stuff they didn't use, or
Sure.
something original for that movie. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it, man. Really good. It was a good season. Really good.
Yeah. So speaking of the
First
season,
few episodes were weird, which we
which
all
was the
kind of
point.
Yeah, that was the point. But
Like I was talking with Carl, he's a shared friend from a bunch of different Discord servers, and he's in like production stuff, and he was sharing like they actually like fucking legitimately built 1950s sets to shoot those shows, like using like newer cameras and stuff, of course, but like they used the old lighting and like all the old shit they used like is like legit to period, which is awesome. So cool.
That's pretty cool.
But speaking of the season as a whole, what are some of your guys' favorite like standout like moments at large of the whole season?
I have to think.
Because I can go first while you're thinking.
Go for it.
My favorite moment, because like I can't believe they really showed it, is the moment Monica, like that opening where she comes back from the blip, and like you get the her reforming in the hospital and find like all of it, like the chaos, the craziness, everyone freaking out, and then she finds out her mom died after she survived cancer, and finds out it's been 5 years, and then boom, title card. Awesome shit. That was awesome.
Good one. Because we saw a snippet in Far From Home of people returning,
where it was
like,
played for jokes.
It was played as a joke, and this was like here's how it really happened. Because Chris, is something you brought up you bring up whenever we talk about this. Like there are people that were in some very weird situations and spaces when the snap happened, and all of a sudden we never really talked about like
now
how they came back.
In the script for Endgame. They literally say when Banner snaps, he like is thinking whoever was like in danger or whatever when they're supposed to be like maybe they were in an airplane or whatever, they're fine. Like, nobody died getting snapped back. Is the point?
I don't know about that.
That's literally what's in the script. It's like the Russos are like, yeah, it was already a long enough movie. We didn't want to put that in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So continue with your point, Fusion. Sorry.
No. I thought that was really a great way of thinking, because we knew what happened, but we got to see it like actually take place, like someone come back of importance and how it affected everyone around. Just the panicking in the hospital. That's a really good one though, because that was a really intense scene. For me, it would be, I think, when she realized her DNA was rewritten and she's going to become Spectrum at some point, but she had powers as a result of coming back and forth out of
like that shot of her going through the hex again.
Yep.
Dope.
You can just see her being rebuilt, like just being remade on a molecular level or whatever. But then when Wanda, hexes her and she was able to defend herself, and it was like, oh shit, like, okay, well, at least out of all of this, we have another hero out there, another powered person out there because of this. And you ask questions of, is anyone else going to be that? Like, that's what led to the whole mutant discussion. Like, okay, well, maybe this is how mutants are born, from being caught inside this hex, in this world that she made. But that's probably one of my favorite scenes, because it was like, yeah, we finally get someone else. And yeah, I know we talk about this, and a lot of people talk about this, with superheroes. We want more, more diverse heroes, and I'm all for having Spectrum out there, just because, one of the newer ones in the last 15 years, but very, very interesting background, and her ties to Captain Marvel can only make that movie better.
Yeah, that, and there's also the forthcoming Miss Marvel show.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Wondering if she's going to be a shared character.
Yeah, if she's going to be a shared character, if maybe even Brie Larson makes a cameo. Obviously, she has to make a cameo in the show at the very beginning. But yeah, I would really like to see her. I would really like to see Monica Rambeau being in Miss Marvel as well. That would be really cool just to have her be like kind of the new Coulson of these shows.
Yes, because you need a Coulson, and if we
Yeah,
could get
you do.
actual Coulson, I'd
Yeah,
be
let's
even
just get
happier.
Why have a Coulson like when we could just have fucking Coulson back?
Yeah,
Come
like
on,
just
guys.
say fuck it, multiverse is real. He was fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, what happened the last couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Good answer.
Just all say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a different reality, and then in this reality, Coulson, much like in season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just wasn't allowed to die. Basically got tortured with Kree blood and shit. It was fucked up. And then keep Coulson. It'd be awesome.
I would, Chris, how would you feel about that? I don't know. Did you watch the entire series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I watched about 6 episodes.
Okay.
You didn't even
And
get to
that
the Winter
was when
Soldier
they
reveal?
aired.
Oh man, you didn't get to the Winter Soldier reveal.
Oh, there's just so much that happens in season 1 that's tied into the MCU. God, it just infuriates me that they just.
It should have been 13 episodes, not 22.
Yeah,
Is it on Disney
Netflix.
Plus?
It's on
I don't have Netflix.
Netflix has the original airing or redistribution rights, I guess. They'll revert to Disney, I think, fairly soon. I think
next year.
Yeah, I think it's next year they revert.
Okay.
So,
I'll watch it then.
Yeah.
But I really, I think when Monica Rambeau's revealed that she has powers, that was a cool moment. Really cool because it's like, okay, we've added one more person to the power pool for the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, what do you got?
I have 2. One is more like serious, and the other one's like, that was just crazy that they did it. And now that I think about it, it's weird that they did it. But when they recast Pietro.
Yes.
Like, why would they recast it as him if he's not going to be a Quicksilver?
Yeah.
It just seemed that now looking back on it, that's really weird.
It was a bit of a fuck you, honestly.
Yeah, it really was.
That's what I mean. It wouldn't have been a fuck you if it was the actor Evan Peters.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been stunt casting gone meta. Yeah. They didn't do that.
But otherwise, I think the thing that stuck out to me most was the first 2 episodes came out on the same day, and I watched both of them, and they were interesting, but it was also like, why are they television shows? Like, why is she doing this as a television show? And then you get to episode 8 and you go through all of the stuff about like her past and everything, and you realize these were the shows that she watched when she was going through hard times.
Yep.
So this is her comfort zone.
Yep.
This is what she's doing as a creative outlet to make herself not feel as dead inside as she really is. Really.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like it, I would have been fine with it just being, she's just doing a TV show. It would have been fine, but the little added effort to do just that was like really artistically really well done to me and stuck out. So I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah. So some other ones for me, some smaller ones. The character introductions for 2 individual ones. That being Jimmy Woo with the magic trick and the business card. Just A, excellent callback to Ant-Man.
So good.
And
Full
B,
circle.
Actual like kind of character progression for him all in like 6 seconds. Like, yeah, he's a boss FBI agent. He figured out the magic tricks. He's Jimmy fucking Woo, okay?
Yep.
Then the introduction to Darcy, which is like the leveled up version of her that we saw last in Thor 2. Like, where she's still not going to take shit from anybody, but now he's actually the smartest person in the room. You know, like, it's crazy she's gone from political science major to literal one of the smartest people on the planet in numerous different scientific fields, which is nuts. But and like, you meet Thor, you meet a fucking god, it would kind of maybe reframe what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting because in the first Thor, wasn't she like doing a lot of talking about like how all this technology is outdated and everything, and it's like she was more attuned toward modern technology in the first Thor, and now in this one she starts off by saying, hey, I need an old TV. I need old technology to make this work.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know if that was an intentional callback or anything, but I found that pretty cool.
Man, they're very good at the callbacks, so I wouldn't put it past the fact that they realized that too.
Yeah. And then my last one that was like a standout moment because it's one of the more recent ones from the last episode 8, and that's the scene in the Avengers mansion, or compound between Vision and Wanda, like OG Vision, with the what is it, grief? He says
Grief,
what is grief but love persevering? Like, awesome scene.
Yeah,
that
that's a great line.
And then it's funny because the roof fell on him. Like, and then she like corrects him on like the why it's not.
That's not
and it's
why
like it's not that kind of show. Like, I appreciated like that level of heart and like actual like pathos, whatever how you say that word, that was like given to the story.
Yeah.
You know, much like the whole, hey, we're gonna have this big throwdown fight. Hey, you ever heard of the ship of Theseus? Yeah.
You know, it was so
like,
awesome. Like,
I will need elaboration.
They're just duking it out, and he's just like, wait a minute. Do you recall the ship of Theseus? He's like, I do. Okay, we're going there. All right.
And I love that they're still doing the slow pan around.
The slow pan.
Talking. Like,
and I also love that if you look at it, we'll say there's White Vision and Vision Prime or whatever.
Yeah.
Vision Prime is actually like charging up his Mind Stone to go in for another attack, and then he cools it off as he sees White Vision just being like, hold on a second, I need to dig into this further.
Yeah.
Like, he had, like, Vision Prime was ready to just go for it.
You know,
but then he realized, okay, hold on.
It's funny you bring that up because right when the world was being destroyed, she told Vision, look, because he asked her, what am I? And she said, you are my part of the fraction of the Mind Stone that's in me, right? That leads me to believe that the vision she constructed is the same vision that existed all along. It was just he's just been splintered out. And I think at some point the vision that we saw within the construct of the Mind Stone that is within Wanda will be put back into
because that's
the
like
White Vision.
Him, because they were mentioning memories. It's like that's him without the memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's his Matrix. It's the combination of Ultron and Jarvis and the Mind Stone with no memories.
Well, remember, it also has code in there that has some personality code of both Banner and Stark in there as well. He's mentioned that.
Yeah.
But primarily it is Jarvis along with the UI code that was living within the Mind Stone. So that, the fact that I think I told you this a couple episodes ago when we have the reveal, she constructed him, her hex magic was coming out of her, but what was constructing him was yellow. And that led me to believe that she used that portion of the Mind Stone, and, that was true. So I think that Vision still exists within her to a degree now because he existed within the Mind Stone, and he had that connection to the Mind Stone the entire time. So I think maybe in the Multiverse of Madness, she starts, she's hearing those voices. Maybe that she learns to find out that the children, the boys, and Vision exist in her to a degree.
Yeah,
because of the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
So like that leads me back to a weird point. Like imagine you're Paul Bettany. In 2007, you get called in to do some fucking voice work for a computer, right? You only have a few lines in the movie, and then you flash forward 13, 14 fucking years, and you're acting opposite yourself as a mental construct of an android opposite yourself who's the same version of him without any memories. Like, what the fuck? That is such a weird like transition from where like you take the character at their starting point to then it's just fucking crazy. And then also kind of fuck him for the whole, hey, there's an Avenger that I've never gotten to act apart from them, and it's awesome. We have great chemistry. He was just trucking trolling everybody because he got to act opposite himself. Like, God damn it.
That's pretty great. I didn't see that.
He's been a good sport, like in interviews from Iron Man 1 all the way through. He's always talked about how he really appreciated the growth that they've given him in the roles, especially with Jarvis throughout the first movies. And then they tell him, oh yeah, with Civil War, it's like, hey, you're going to be Jarvis. Okay, great. I'll cut lines. Like, oh, by the way, do you want to play a role in the movie? He's like, yeah, sure. What? You're going to be the Vision. He's like, okay. He was like, sure. I get an interview. He was like, I always thought that I was just going to be a voice person for the MCU, but then they tell me, we really appreciate we love the work you've done and how you've evolved the Jarvis AI for Stark and all the movies. And so at this point, the next logical step is, we're going to make Vision, and here's the background behind it. Okay, great. So who are you going to get to play it? Well, we want to know if you want to do it. He's like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, sure. And do you want to go ahead and voice your own character? It's like, yeah, sure. All right. So I think it's a good story of all of just the growth in the MCU. You know,
I'm still a little miffed we never got him as real Jarvis in Agent Carter, but I liked the Jarvis we got there. He was pretty cool, but it just like it would have been awesome for it to be him, and that's why Tony used that voice because it was Jarvis. Like that would have been pretty cool. But maybe it was a logistics thing and they couldn't get him. Maybe they asked. I don't know. Because when did that come out? When did Carter?
2016.
There was a crossover. It must have been around season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they had that crossover episode where she shows up with the Diviner and the Inhuman stuff.
The Diviner, yes.
Season 2. Yeah, it was like back half of season 2. Yeah, it would have been 2014, probably. Yeah. I'm still if we never got the resolution of that show. That was a damn good one too.
Yeah, you know, there's been a rumor that they may want to do a Peggy and Steve like in the past, where he's Nomad, does a few heroic.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be
I would
awesome.
love to see that.
Yeah, because you know, with Nomad, the way you can get around having Chris Evans back as Steve Rogers is 2 ways. I think I mentioned this last week on last episode. You know, we've established an end game that you can make someone younger by pushing time through them. That's what we had with Scott Lang when they're trying to test out the time machine. You could take old man Steve Rogers and run time through him, making him younger again. You could do that. What are the effects? Don't know. We never really established that. The other thing is that you can have him. He's back in the 40s, the late 40s, early 50s now, married with Peggy. You know, he doesn't want to be Captain America. He's obviously living a quiet life, right? But he can help her when needed as Nomad, you know, basically a masked character. And that's there's been rumors about doing a show like that, but you know, or a miniseries. I'm sure Evans wouldn't mind doing an offshoot. We know he's going to be in Doctor Strange 2 as a multiverse evil Steve Rogers. That would be really like a Hydra Cap. That'd be fucking great. Like I can't wait for that because he could be his comedic self, you know, like the comedic side of Chris Evans, which is really fucking funny because if you ever watch The Losers, he's hilarious.
God, he's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
That whole scene where he's like face down on the floor. I'll make your heart stop beating with my mind.
I'll make your heart stop beating. Skippy from Tech Support. He's Skippy from Tech Support. Yeah.
Great character. But we're at roughly, I think, 45, 50 minutes now here at this point. Anything else anyone wants to add on our favorite moments of WandaVision?
Chris?
I don't have any more favorite moments, but I just want to say, like, so I do try and stay away from theories and spoilers and anything like that, but being on Twitter and everything, you see a little bit of stuff. A lot of what I saw, and Marvel does this so well, especially in trailers and stuff, but they don't give stuff away. They make you think one thing and it goes a different direction.
Yeah.
And they did that really well with this show. Like, I don't know, after the first 2 or 3 episodes, everybody was like, oh, Mephisto's coming in or something like that. He didn't show up.
Yep.
Like, I know he's a character because I play a board game that has Mephisto in it. Like, I know that's a character. I know what he's about, but he didn't show up. They did the whole Pietro. He's not actually the Quicksilver that we thought this Quicksilver actually was. I just like that they did a whole... They do it so well, and it makes me excited for the shows going forward. Just what are they going to twist and turn in our own minds?
Sure.
To then just throw it out the window.
I think the biggest problem was people really wanted to strong arm so much new content within this show. They wanted to know, is Kang going to show up? You know, is Doctor Strange going to show up? Are we going to get mutants, Mephisto? All these things. And at the end of it, it was still about Vision and Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was the great thing about it. At the very end of this show, it was about Vision and Wanda.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
And that definitely is part of the reason it got so fucking nuts was that it had been 18 months without any Marvel content. So
yeah, that's true.
We got like all that hype leading into the weirdness of those first 3 episodes. And then the more traditional getting introduced into Monica's backstory, and in episode like 4 on, it kind of becomes a little bit more traditional as we get towards the end. I like that kind of weird into partly normal and then more normal, and then like it's all happening in real time kind of storytelling, which was really fun. But like you said about the not knowing what's coming, Chris, we don't know what the fuck the story is for either. We know a little bit more about Loki because they've had a couple more like story trailers, because it's some fucking bonkers shit, like the Time Bureau and everything. It's like Legends of Tomorrow on fucking acid, which is a bonkers fucking show. It's crazy. That show's nuts. Like, and then this show, it's like Marvel's version of that, but like cranked up to 11. And then I don't know what the fuck's going on in Winter Soldier and Falcon, and I want to fucking watch that show. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows what the story is. There's no like really like, hey, these guys are on the run. Are they working for the government? Who the fuck knows where they're at in the universe? Nobody knows. And we're all in on Marvel. That's how you know they're fucking dominating everything.
Right.
You don't need to know shit, and you want to watch their stuff. Great.
Oh, hey, we got the Snyder Cut coming in a couple weeks, by the way. Don't forget that.
I will say though, I'm actually I'm gonna watch that and go. I'm just glad we get to see it because it might be the last time we get to watch Henry Cavill and Superman in anything.
Yeah, probably.
Which sucks.
I do want to see the Snyder Cut.
I just want to see how different it is. Like if it's really 80% different, holy shit. Holy shit.
And because it's a 4-hour event, Chris, that may be something where we have to get you to come back on and chat with us about.
Definitely.
Because there's going to be, for 4 fucking hours, there's a lot of content to talk about. Like a lot of shit compared to the first, the disaster that was the Whedon Cut.
What is that coming out on? The HBO Max or whatever?
HBO Max.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get my free trial.
Get your free trial like the day before, it's like a 7-day trial. Get your free trial and then watch it for 4 hours. How many
profiles can you have on HBO Max?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: for YouTube TV, I have about 70 1-week trials. Every time there's a fucking Super Bowl or NBA Finals on network TV,
they blast email them all the time. Yeah.
I just create a Gmail account that's like this fucking sucks at gmail.net, and then I get a free week of YouTube TV, and then I cancel it. So,
nice.
Well,
I will say the one thing that I really wanted from Wanda and Vision, which I'm so sad it didn't happen. Maybe they should do this in the bloopers now, but they should have had an episode where they're doing like the whole TV stuff, and then Deadpool comes on and he breaks the fourth wall, and he kicks through the TV or something, or like he starts talking and it's just a bunch of bleeps because Wanda has to actually bleep it all.
Yeah, or he walks through the hex, it doesn't affect him at all, and he just starts swearing up a storm. Is like, wait, I shouldn't be here, and he just leaves. And Wanda and Vision are like, who the fuck is that? And we never see him again.
It's crazy.
Well, we joke about that, but Feige has said that they're going to transition Deadpool into the MCU in some way, right?
Oh yeah,
the multiverse of madness, man. Like they're jumping from reality to reality, and they jump into one where Deadpool's at, and he's just like he's so aware of what's going on.
Ryan Reynolds swearing at Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange before he gets flung off into the multiverse or whatever. I'm definitely gonna want to see that.
Yes.
It would be great if he keeps calling him Sherlock. He keeps calling him Sherlock.
He has to call him Sherlock.
Like, listen,
or
Sherlock,
Smaug.
you don't understand what's going on here, okay?
Yeah, you just call him a bunch of different names that he's of characters he's played.
He's got to bring up penguins.
Penguin Con.
Yes.
Oh God, that would be so great.
God, that'd be awesome.
Like just having it, I have no problem with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool being in the MCU, just because he's just so fucking great at that role. He's perfect for that role.
Yeah, they've already confirmed a rated R Deadpool on Disney Plus, right? Yeah.
Yep, and Feige has confirmed that they're going to transition Deadpool from the Fox X-Men universe. He's going to be moved into the MCU in some way. Yeah.
Good. I'm excited.
Give me like 5 more. You can do 5 more films of that guy, and he's getting to his mid-40s, but it doesn't matter because he wears the burnt makeup and he's under the mask most of the time. So it's like, okay.
Is that going to make Avengers films rated R going forward?
Oh, that'd be so.
If he shows up, it's got to be.
I would love it. I would love it.
And then you think about where they want to go in like 10 years. Their original audience, like their core group, was like the 18 to 25, on. Now or even younger. Now we're all going to be old. They're all going to be old enough to watch like that kind of content. It's going to kind of age with them.
Yeah.
Disney, you can have this for free. You do 2 different Avengers movies. You have the Avengers, and then you have the Deadpool cut.
Yes.
and it's the rated R version of Avengers.
Yeah, it's like
there you go.
Fox did that with Hugh Jackman. Like you would have the theatrical cut, and then you'd have the unrated cut. Like the Wolverine's unrated cut, vastly superior to the theatrical. Vastly. Yeah. So I would love to see them do that more.
Silver Samurai was still stupid.
Yeah, that was still stupid. But Hugh Jackman got to be like Wolverine far more than he did in the theatrical cut. Yeah. It's great.
God. For it.
That's why I like talking about MCU, man. As a longtime Marvel fan, like there's just so many things that they can do now. And if they're doing an adult channel, like to have rated R content, we're gonna get another Daredevil or Luke Cage story,
Mhm.
or Jessica Jones. Like I said this last episode, I want a true fucking Alias TV show. If you're gonna bring back Jessica Jones, give me a true detective Alias story. Like if you're gonna do that on like Disney Dark or whatever.
Alias, it's her investigating stuff, but it's weird science stuff, and it involves
Yep.
Jimmy Woo and Darcy.
That'd be great.
And she has to deal with their like crazy earnestness, and she has to be the actual, like, Darcy's like sassy but not a cynic, whereas Jessica Jones all cynic and not gonna put up with that shit.
I like that. I like it.
I want to see that show.
Book it. Let's do it.
Fuck it. We got another one for you.
There's another for you on Disney.
Yep.
Come on,
Take
Disney.
it.
Now, if only.
All you gotta do is retweet the show. All you gotta do is retweet the show.
That's all we ask.
Yeah, there you go. If
Your 40
only
million
they could.
followers.
If only they could take Star Wars as seriously as they take.
Star Wars doesn't need to be taken
MCU.
seriously.
But
That's where
I
you get
want
some
it.
of the best shit.
That a lot of that is on Kathleen Kennedy, but I think now we have Filoni and Favreau that are going to be right. They've
Yes.
righted the ship, and they're getting a lot of autonomy now in
Mhm.
terms of like producer support for ongoing
Right.
Star Wars projects.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Because I've been watching through. I had started Rebels a bit ago, and then I stopped because the first few episodes were just kind of really slow and boring. But now it's picked up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I need more Star Wars stuff now.
Rebels, you really need to kind of retune your expectations, because like Clone Wars
Yeah.
was very much, no, this is fucking Star Wars, and this is like the war, and it's like it's dark.
It's
and,
gritty. It's
Yeah.
Cartoon Network. Rebels is.
Yeah,
It's a kids show.
more
It's on
kidsy.
Disney.
It's more kidsy in the tone, but then it
Mhm.
very quickly, like, no, they're telling real, like, actual, like,
Yeah.
no, these people are oppressed. They're getting like murdered. Like they're dealing with this evil empire. Like those first few episodes really do a great job of resetting your expectations coming off of Clone Wars and introducing you to those new characters. And that awesome moment where he finally takes out the lightsaber and he's like, focus fire on and he like hesitates on the Jedi. Fuck. Awesome. Now I want to watch Rebels again. Thanks.
Yeah.
Let me know
You're
when you get to
welcome.
season 2 though, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
When-
Oh, I'm almost done with season 2. I just finished episode 20.
Tell me when you
20 or
finish the
21.
season. Just
Okay.
Twilight of the Apprentice. Tell me when you watch that. And
I just finished
shit.
the chopper base, the one where they have like the
you are
spiders.
damn near there.
Yeah, I'm right at the end. I think there's 4 episodes left in the season. So,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
excited.
just say Ahsoka's amazing and leave it at that.
Well, I already knew that. I saw the end, like the Disney Plus season of Clone Wars, and I lost my mind. Those last 3 episodes are incredible.
So good. Okay.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
then we're done talking Star Wars because we were all about WandaVision. This is like
All right, now we're
all about WandaVision and 3.5 minutes of Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah.
well, we got to get like 3.5 minutes of Mighty Ducks animated series as well. So no.
Well, are you gonna watch speaking of Mighty Ducks? They're like the trailer is that out? The trailer yet for the new Mighty Ducks
Oh.
show?
New show. I haven't. I think.
Is it the live action thing?
Yeah, like it's like basically they're gonna be doing the first movie again,
Okay.
but with like the same Gordon Bombay that ended in Mighty Ducks D3. Like it's the same character and new kids.
Yeah, I tried watching D2 the other day.
they do
and
not
I got 10
hold
minutes.
up. The first one does.
I got 10 minutes in. I'm like, no. Yes, the first one held up.
D3
The
was
second
just-
one was like 10 minutes in. I'm like, all right.
D3 was just the dumbest. That was the dumbest movie ever.
It's
I mean,
just stupid.
one of the most important players on their squad like misses 3/4 of the movie, and he shows up for the final match. at the
Yeah,
end of the
by
movie.
signing a contract, like
Signing a contract.
by
It's like,
signing a scholarship, like during the game. Like
Yeah, during the game.
no athletic association in the history of sports would allow that to happen.
he just walks in with his bag and his contract, like in intermission, like, guys, I'm here. Okay, like, yeah.
And no coach
Let's
would take him.
go.
He'd be like, "You're not fucking playing on my team. You haven't been
Like, you're like
practicing with our
40,
guys."
dude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Okay.
That movie's
We
crazy.
managed to squeeze in 2 minutes of
Yeah, now we got
There
Mighty
you go.
Ducks.
There it is.
It's all Disney. It's all Disney. It all
Disney.
counts. It all counts. All right. We're gonna call it here. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Of course, you can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel if you're watching there. Subscribe on your specific podcast feeds. We're over at wafer.podbean.com as well if you want to actually go to the specific RSS homepage. You can follow us at our Twitters if you're watching on YouTube. They are above our heads. Yes, they're above all our heads on this overlay. And the other one they're below. But You make sure to follow Chris. He's our guest for this week. But you'll see him
Yes.
in future stuff, I'm sure, because he's Chris. He's around. He's always around.
Thank you, Chris.
We got a Mighty Ducks podcast to do.
You're team captain now. Had to-
Wow, wing.
Okay, that's it for the show for this week. We'll be back with episode 13 in 2 weeks for the opening episode of maybe two. Is it going to be 2 episodes? Or are they doing just 1 episode? Because those are more traditional TV length for.
They haven't even established if they're going to do 1 or 2 yet.
Yeah, my
it
guess is
depends on
it's
how long-
1 because there's.
Probably.
They said it's longer so far. It's shot more like an actual like cable show in
Sure.
terms of production length. So that would be Falcon and Winter Soldier dropping in 2 weeks on Disney Plus. We're gonna talk that. By then, we should have seen the Snyder Cut. That's coming out the Thursday before. So like Thursday is Snyder Cut. That Friday is Falcon and Winter Soldier and the start of the NCAA tournament. Both those days. Go Hawks. Well, you can't see it, but it's a Kirk Ferentz reference. So we're gonna be watching that. I might be wearing a Hawkeye jacket if the Hawkeyes haven't lost in the tournament yet. Fingers crossed. Okay, bye.
Later, guys.
Peace.